Picture this. No more printing press, no more internet, not even a public library. We're in the Middle Ages, and if you want a book, a scribe has to copy it by hand, letter by painstaking letter. These manuscripts weren't just books, they were treasures, lifetimes of what bound in leather and ink. So, how did they protect these priceless objects from thieves? Forget locks and chains. They used something far more terrifying, a curse. Welcome to the medieval scriptorium, a place of quiet devotion and simmering anxiety. Scribes, the unsung heroes of literacy, spent years hunched over parchment in freezing, dimly lit rooms. Their fingers itched, their eyes strained, and they knew the finished product, a Bible, a medical text, a book of laws, was a prime target for theft. Their solution: to weaponize the most powerful force of the age, faith and fear. They wrote curses, known as colophons, directly into the manuscripts. These weren't just idle threats, they were spiritual booby traps, designed to invoke divine wrath upon anyone who dared to steal their work. Let's look at an example from the Arnstein Bible, written around ka-1172. A scribe added this little note for any potential thief: if anyone steals it, may he die. May he be roasted in a frying pan, may epilepsy and fever take him, and may he be broken on the wheel and hanged. Amen. They were dead serious. In the medieval mind, a curse was a spiritual missile aimed at the thief's body and soul. The punishments they described were not metaphors. They were the most horrific forms of torture imaginable, promising not just death, but eternal damnation. Imagine you're a poor student, tempted by a beautifully illuminated manuscript. You open the back cover and read those words. Suddenly, the book feels hot in your hands, the ink like a signature on a warrant for your soul. The fear was real, and the scribes got creative with it. A 15th century French curse laid out a omen of torment. Whoever steals this book will hang on a gallows in Paris. And if he isn't hung, he'll drown. And if he doesn't drown, he'll roast. And if he doesn't roast, a worse end will befall him. So there was no more escape. Some curses were brutally specific, targeting the very tools of the crime. Since a thief would use their eyes to covet and read the stolen book, meant curses aimed for blindness. One famous French curse states, "Whoever to steal this volume tries, out with his eyes, out with his eyes." The message was clear: the eyes that sin would be plunged into darkness, both in this life and the next. This highlights how powerful the written word was. The physical book itself became an object imbued with a kind of sacred, dangerous energy. This practice shows us something fascinating about medieval justice. While we might think of curses as something from a horror movie, back then, they were a recognized and culturally accepted form of security. They were a preemptive warning, a prayer for vengeance, and a legal deterrent all rolled into one. It was a world where divine and demonic forces felt incredibly close, and the written curse was seen as a direct line to those powers, a way to ensure cosmic justice would be served. But these scribes weren't just mystical guardians of knowledge. They were also human. It's common to find a curse right next to a much more personal request. After spending months or years on a single book, a scribe might add a little plea for a reward before unleashing the fire and the brimstone. A common line was a request for a drink of noble wine. This beautiful blend of the sacred and the profane, of asking for a nice glass of wine and then threatening eternal damnation in the next breath, perfectly captures the medieval spirit. It shows the constant, anxious coexistence of everyday life and the cosmic dread. So, did these curses actually work? Well, probably not through supernatural intervention, but the psychological pressure they exerted was immense. In an age with no more police force or forensic science, the fear of God and of being roasted in a pan for all eternity was a far more effective deterrent than any physical act. The book curse was the ultimate security system, a mental prison built from faith and superstition, designed to protect the most valuable assets of the time. These curses add more than just a spooky historical footnote. They add a raw and powerful testament to a time when books were incredibly precious, and the words held the power to save a soul or condemn it. They reveal a world steeped in a unique combination of profound faith, paralyzing fear, and the incredible human ingenuity. The next time you pick up a book, just take a moment to be grateful you don't have to check the back cover for a warning about the breaking wheel. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this dive into the depth side of medieval libraries as fascinating as I did, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories from the strange corners of history. See you next time.